hello everyone. Welcome to season 3, episode 1, solo travel, my very first episode back in Australia. My name is Victoria Rose. In this episode, I will share with you why I say stop being nice, don't be scary, and I want to share with you the ways that we are actually the same, no matter where you travel. So I want to share with you in particular some of the things that we actually do share. But first of all, it is so wonderful to be back in Australia. I am wanting to share with you, though, the important things that you need to know if you choose to travel. Now, I just need to get myself a little bit steady here because I'm trying a new formula and it's not being clever. So just excuse me for a minute. Oh, I was just about to do the splits. Hello, Desley. How wonderful to have you. Oh, there we go. I was just about to have an incredibly embarrassing thing happen, but I've saved the day. I'm back here. So why am I saying stop being nice? And guess what, guys? This also applies to when you are in Australia as well. So you're probably being feeling a bit outraged at the moment because, hello, aren't we always getting this advice, be nice to people? Well, here's what I mean by stop being nice. These are real stories that happened to other people and some happened to me, but I'll share those ones another time. Whilst I was away 16 months, backpacking solo through 10 countries. By the way, if you want to check out all my previous live streams, they're now videos on my YouTube channel. So just go and check out Victoria Rose Solo Travel on YouTube and you'll be able to find all my live streams. So have a look at the titles. Is there anything in those titles that will appeal to you? For instance, are you dubious that I have done this travel using my Australian aged pension, solely on my Australian aged pension? Are you like someone that said, oh, that can't be possible, I've done the figures? Well, I've done it and kept meticulous account of my expenses. Let's now go to the number one point I really want to bring to your attention today. Stop being nice. Thank you for all the hearts and the thumbs up. Why do I say that? Okay, so here's a comment that was made on a Facebook page. It's a group, and you might, if you're thinking of traveling overseas, you might like, which regardless of which country you're in, you might like to check out this Facebook group. It's called Girls Love Travel. Now, this young woman, from memory, she's an American, not that that really matters, but she wanted to start her solo travel. And she was asking, where should I sit when I get into the car? Now, she was talking about Uber. You've got Grab in Asia, which is so like Uber, it's unbelievable. And then you also have catching an ordinary taxi. And her point of view was that she wants to sit in the front. She feels she should sit in the front. It's a bit rude if she doesn't, because she needs to talk to the person like they're a human and share stuff with them. Wow. There were a lot of comments came from women who had this advice to give her. And it was very similar to my advice. You are not that Uber, Grab, or taxi driver's friend. You are paying them for a service. If you go and sit as a solo woman traveling, if you go and sit in the front seat with the driver, you have no clue, or depending on the country, of course, you have no clue what they're thinking about the fact that you did that, about the fact that you are being nice. See, nice can mean different things. Let me give you an example of that. I did a volunteer gig in Albania, and there was another volunteer there, and he told me that the guy that was in charge of all these volunteers, he had this opinion about Western women. He thought Western women were all sluts. Wow. Please, now I'm not saying that Australians won't think that, or British won't think that, or whatever the opinions that they have about women. But when you're traveling solo in another country and you haven't lived their culture, I believe you are opening yourself up to placing yourself in a precarious situation. You are not their friend. Sit in the back and you can still talk to them if you choose to, but you are in the back and you are certainly a lot safer, and you're giving the correct impression that you are paying for this service. I have another example to share with you. This one woman was couch surfing, and she was waiting in Europe, in a country in Europe, for her couch surfing host to turn up. And the couch surfing host, it was over an hour, the host still hadn't turned up. She didn't have any contact on her mobile phone. So she's there waiting at this cafe when a young man approaches her. And the young man just chats, attractive young girl, although that doesn't matter. She's friendly, she's open, she's nice. So he chats to her. He suggests, well, why don't I show you this site and that site? So they end up spending a couple of hours together. And he invited her back to his place because she was tired by now. And he said, I will have a cup of coffee. And so she went back to his place. And because she was so tired, this is a true story, because she was so tired, he suggested that she just take a nap and they'd get back in contact with the couch surfing host after she'd had her nap, just to see what's going on. So this young woman who had just met this man, she had spent a couple of hours with him, but that was all, in his place. And she then laid down on his couch and actually went to sleep. It may be no surprise to discover that she reported when she woke up, he was behind her, cradled, his body was cradled in behind her, and he had his hands on her breasts. So this again is a comment in the Girls Love Travel book, Facebook group. Get it right in a minute. Facebook group. Well, there were hundreds of comments, and the majority of the comments did acknowledge that she had done something foolishly, but then she would learn from that and not be scared, because she said she was scared now and she didn't know how to proceed. She wasn't sure who she could trust anymore. And how did I respond to that comment? Here's my advice. Do not do as a solo traveler what you would not do at home. So why did she start chatting to him? Because she's being nice. He was a nice guy. She didn't want to hurt her feelings. That's a lot of what we do, especially women, when we feel that we need to be nice. We don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. Well, so stop being nice until you are nice to yourself first. critically assess what's going on here. Would I be placing myself in a dangerous, precarious, or unsure position if I continued doing what I'm doing because I have this burning desire that I don't want to hurt other people's feelings? Well, you need to look after your own feelings first. So that's what I mean when I say stop being nice. Nice shouldn't come into it. You need to critically assess what's going on. So if you've brought up with that nice thing, if you've been brought up that way, then please take a second, think about it. As I've already said, not just when you're traveling, think about what you're doing at home as well. So that's the first point. Stop being nice. Now, the second point is don't be scary. So, what can I possibly mean by that after my stop being nice advice? So don't be scary. Now I'm going to use an at-home example here to really put it into context, because the truth is it applies to wherever you are in the world, not just all advice, not just what I'm saying. It's not just about when you're traveling. Let's have a look at the example that I want to give you when you're at home and you've bought some clothing and or some item from a store, and they have a returns policy, no questions asked, just bring it back and it'll be, your money will be refunded. Now, I happen to know that a lot of people actually don't believe that's true. So they're going physically into the store. Now, I know this doesn't happen as much now. There's a lot more online shopping goes on, but I want to use this as an example. So you go into the store, you're walking up to the refunds counter, and you do expect there to be a bit of a battle. So what are you like as you're walking up to the refunds counter? I know this is true. I've seen it myself and possibly even done it myself. So you put on your, we're about to have a battle here. They're not going to honor their, we'll give your money back, full refund, no questions asked. There's going to be a problem. So you walk up to the person and you have your armor on. This is your battle armor. Now, some people make themselves small. Some people, when they know they're going to a confrontation, make themselves bigger. What about, so, and how they hold their hands as well. And what about the look on the face? It's not friendly. That's all I'll say there. When you know that you're about to go into battle with someone over anything, your body language totally gives you away. The other person sees instantly that you are unfriendly, that you are up for a battle here. So what do? They put on their armor as well. So they brace up. Now this can happen over the phone, of course, because the tone is incredibly telling over the phone, as well as when you're standing in front of someone. So your body language can be scary. And we often adopt that when we're in an unusual place, or we're walking up a street and we feel a little bit unsure. Perhaps we're a bit worried our accommodation again hasn't turned out, or a person hasn't turned up that we were meant to meet, or we missed our bus, or whatever it is. You just feel unsafe. When you feel unsafe in a location, you can look scary because you've got your safety armor on, and safety armor is very similar to battle armor. So whilst you're walking along in a foreign place, you need to be aware, how do I look? How am I presenting myself? What did I do when I was traveling? I very rarely made eye contact with a male, especially walking along the road. I avoided that eye contact, kind of like what I do in Australia anyway, but there you go, that's another live stream. But I nearly always made eye contact with the women and smiled, just a gentle smile, just an acknowledgement, or I just dropped my head as sort of a saying hi. 95% of the time, it didn't matter whether it was the peasant village women from, where was that? That was from Kash in Turkey, or anywhere walking up the street in York in the UK, in Albania, anywhere. When I did that, I presented a friendly face. I am not a danger. I am not arrogant. So much of how we present ourselves, especially as lighter skinned people, Farangs as we're called in Thailand, we have to be really careful that we don't come across as superior and arrogant. Arrogance is one of the big traps, and often arrogance just masks the fact that you're feeling unsure of yourself and you don't want to be there looking like a fool. Okay, and stupid. You don't want to be, you don't want other people to see that perhaps you haven't quite done your work, you haven't done your research on this place. Uh, so just be fully aware. Don't be scary. You need to understand how you look when you've got your battle armor on, though. And I guarantee you have no clue. So, possibly to find out how you look, what if you just ask someone close to you? Ask them, say, when I'm not happy, like perhaps something had happened that morning, tell me how I look. Just give me honest feedback and give them permission to give you honest feedback, because so many times we have no clue on how scary we look to the other person. And when we don't want to be that way either. So the first point was, or is, stop being nice. The second point is, don't be scary. And the third point that I wanted to share with you today was what we actually all share. And I'll talk about three things. The first thing is the mobile phone, no matter which country I was in. Remember, I was in 10 countries and I traveled back to 3 of them. The mobile phone is the biggest factor that, I guess in a way you could say, unites us as humanity, no matter where we're from, no matter what our tribe is. We all have our mobile phones and we look at the mobile phone. Even if we're in a shop and we're supposed to be serving, we're there looking down at our mobile phones. I can't tell you how many times. Uh, I'm probably remembering Thailand because I was there for 2 months. And from Thailand, I went to Malaysia. It happened in Malaysia as well. But I think because I spent so long in Thailand, my most recent images are of so many people. Oops, we've got cats in the house. I'm currently house sitting down in Hastings on the Mornington Peninsula, and we have 3 cats here. And Mika is incredibly curious. So she's just doing everything she can to try and discover what the heck is that woman doing. So the mobile phone, and again, it's a danger when we're solo traveling to be constantly focused on our mobile phone. We need to be alert, not because of danger, to be aware of our surroundings. We might miss that turn off, which can cause us grief later. the awareness of how often we use our mobile phone, which causes us to remove our focus on the outside world, can be dangerous. So the awareness needs to be around how you're using your mobile phone. Do not walk up the street like I saw so many just looking at their phone, not aware at all of their surroundings. You need to be alert. Now, the other thing that we all share is red blood. Oh, I know you're saying, oh, I've got a bit of blue blood in me, Victoria. But we all bleed red, so we're all the same there. And the third part of what we all share is our heart. We all have a heart. The heart beats, and you could look at the heart as being kindness. I was given so much kindness in this last 16 months by so many people, men included, without any ulterior motive, no hidden agenda. People who saw that I was a solo traveler and I was in a spot of bother. Like, how the heck do I figure out this public transport system? Because in one particular case, it's all in Turkish, and Google Translate isn't that good in translating the Turkish language. It's quite funny if you're not depending on that translation to get to where you need to go. You'll find that people will say, oh, don't worry, wherever you go, so many people speak English now. It's not true. Yes, they get taught English in school, whether you're in France or Spain or Italy. Yes, they get taught English in school, but they're not confident enough, many of them, to speak to a native English speaker. So, and if you're going to be in places like York in the UK, so with those Yorkshire accents, I actually felt I needed Google Translate to even understand what those guys were saying. This is a message that I want to share with you today. So don't not travel due to limited funds. Don't not travel due to your fears. Don't live your dream. Your dream may not be to travel. I believe that, especially if you're an Australian, to travel to further places than just Bali and possibly Thailand is a good thing, because you do get to see that there are so many people out there that have heart. I heart you all, and I heart all those kind, wonderful humans around the world who extended a hand to me in those times. And I did have times when things weren't working out, but guess what? I have those times here in Australia as well. But I'm glad to be back. I will not be making another live stream before Christmas, so I wish you all a Merry Christmas. I know that's not possible for so many in Australia, especially those affected by the many issues that we have here. Just talking about Australia now, the drought, the bushfires, so many things. As much as we can, I wish you a Merry Christmas. What does Christmas mean to me? Peace and goodwill to all. So let's have that goodwill attitude to all, especially those doing it tough. Okay, thank you for joining me today, and I'll be back next week. Bye.